Hey, my name's Jonah. Me and my partner Harper have been backpacking around the world for 11 months, and I thought it might be cool to do a little video about my backpack and the stuff that's inside it, so the stuff that I brought, and after 11 months, my feelings of what's good, what's bad, and what I maybe would have liked to know before I left. I'm not a YouTuber or a vlogger or a social media person, so this is just totally my honest opinion. Maybe it'll be interesting for you. Right now, we're in Mongolia. We're doing a homestay for 2 weeks out in the Gobi steppe. So this is where we're living. These are called yurts. These yurts. And they have horses and goats and sheep. It's a pretty awesome landscape. We're really excited to be here. We've been in Western Africa, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, the Caucasus region, Central Asia, and now we're in Mongolia. So maybe I'll start off talking about my backpacks a little bit, and then I'll talk about all the stuff I have. Maybe I'll split it into separate videos. I don't know if this is even interesting to anybody. And then I'll show you what it's like all packed up in my bag. So this is all my stuff. And I promise that it all fits inside of my backpack. So we'll go through all of it. That's my day pack over there. That's my pillow too. This is my backpack. So all this stuff will fit into here. And then these are also jackets and stuff. We carry a bit more than you might otherwise carry since we've been to really hot places and really cold places. So I try to maybe buy things along the way and get rid of things, but it gets expensive and there's some things I like to have. So we have a bit more clothes than I would like to have. So I'll start with this backpack. This is the Osprey Farpoint 70. It's actually a 55-liter bag, and it comes with this day pack that I don't use, but my partner Harper uses it, so this is what it looks like. I won't talk much about this day pack. She's been using it. She's liked it. It's pretty small. The water bottle pockets could be a little bigger, but it's super durable. It's definitely held up to all sorts of trials. And the gimmick is that this backpack would zip on to the back of here, and you can also clip it to the front here to sort of hang over your chest like that. But again, for me, this backpack was kind of too small and also too heavy for what it was worth, so I don't use it. This is the main backpack, 55-liter backpack, and this is like, if you Google best travel backpacks or something like that, this is always going to be either at the top or near the top of the list. Farpoint 55, Farpoint 70. To be honest, I'm sorry, Osprey, I don't love this bag. I think it's okay. So it's pretty simple. It's just a big, open, sort of duffel type bag. It's got a couple handles here and here. On the inside, it's got this one big zipper pocket, which I kind of use for shoving odds and ends and dirty clothes in. And then it's got this big inside with two straps right here. So just to start out with, what I do like about this bag is I like the big open space, and then I have some packing cubes and bags that I'll put in there. So I like that. I like these big beefy straps, big handles. The whole bag is super durable. This has been through all sorts of crap. It's been in checked bags. It's been on all sorts of buses, all sorts of stuff. It doesn't have any rips, any tears. All the buckles have held up. So really happy about that. It's also got a little flap here that you can sort of unroll it, and it'll, conceal all the backpack parts and turn it into a bit more of a suitcase look. And honestly, I don't think that that's that practical, but what I do like it for is if you're bringing it as a carry-on or anything like that, it makes it look smaller. So if you're trying to sneak on something a little bit over the size limit, it's great for that. what I don't like about this bag are several things. The whole suspension system, honestly, is just not that comfortable. You know, when you compare it to a backpacking bag, like a hiking bag, it's got a lot less padding. It's not adjustable at all, so you have to find something in your size. The load distribution onto your hips is pretty good, but it could just use a little bit more padding, you know, and there's no hip pockets here, which would be nice, just a little hip pocket. There's just not that much going on, and I feel like Osprey designing backpacks should know a little bit better. So when you're carrying this, it just could be a bit more comfortable and just a bit more pleasant on the back, especially because, you know, this is a 55-liter backpack. You're probably going to be carrying some heavy stuff in there, so it could be a bit more robust. What I do like is here, these two clips, like I said, with that little backpack, they sort of clip in over the top, but I'll show you, I've removed that and put them on my day pack, and it is really nice. So when you're walking around, to be able to clip your backpack into the front like this, and then instead of having it dragging on your shoulders, you can just let it hang free, and it sort of clips into the suspension system. So I really like that. My second big complaint is there's no water bottle holders on this backpack, which is just idiotic. Honestly, if you're walking around with a big backpack, you're gonna want somewhere to put a water bottle or something. So I bought this little thing just on Etsy. I don't know, maybe 10 bucks or something, and it's a water bottle holder that I strap to the side. It works fine, but I should not have to do that on a backpack like this. And how do I attach this to here? That leads me to my third big problem with this bag, is it doesn't have any compression straps on the side, right? So you have this big backpack, you fill it up with stuff, it's gonna be like this, and then it has these two straps on the front like this, right? That you can compress everything down. That's great, but then there's all this space. And first of all, you want the load to be closer to your back, so you want to be able to compress it down. And if you're trying to fit it in a carry-on bin or something, you want it to be smaller. And I don't even have to explain this because this is just obvious stuff. Any backpack that's made for hiking is gonna have straps here. So why Osprey decided not to do that is beyond me. So what I've done is I bought this little bit of shock cord, and I just attached it to these tie-down points right here, and then I'll show you when I pack up the backpack, but I just wrap it around and cinch it over here, and I just sort of compress the backpack that way, and then just tie it up in a little slip knot or something. And that's also how I attach this thing to here, which, you know, that works fine, but again, I think this backpack retails for like almost $200. It's crazy. That's not something I should have to do. But again, in its defense, these tie-down points, where there are tie-down points, everything has been super beefy and robust and worked perfectly well. As for the size, 55 liters. Again, this is the Farpoint 70, but it's really a 55-liter bag. It's a good size for me because I have a musical instrument, but I think for anybody else, I would go with one size smaller. I think this is too much room for all your shit, and you should probably just bring less shit. This is my day pack. I think you really do need a day pack because, you know, if you wanted to be really light about it, I guess you could just use your big backpack to double as a day pack once you get all your stuff out of it. But really, that's just so annoying and ridiculous. And most of the time, you're gonna be walking around doing activities and stuff with a little backpack. So this is mine. This is, I think, the Black Diamond Nitro 22. And I've had this for a really long time. I've had this for almost 10 years now. A few things have broken over time, like I fixed this over here and I fixed this over here. This backpack is super beefy. It's got an internal frame, so it's got a little wire frame, and it has like a full hip belt, so like full support and suspension. Honestly, I kind of regret bringing this because I think it's too much backpack, it's too heavy. I don't remember the exacts, but this weighs maybe like 2 pounds, a little over 2 pounds, like maybe almost 3 pounds, but you can feel it. It's kind of heavy, And if I did it again, I would buy something smaller. But I do like the fact that it's big, 22 liters, because sometimes when you're checking a bag on an airplane, if you're trying to get your carry-on size smaller, you get this like personal bag. So I like to just shove as much stuff as possible in here, and 22 liters is a lot of room for stuff. Two, a lot of times I use it for going to the grocery store, so it's really nice to be able to load up on all this stuff. Three, we like to go hiking, so it's nice to have an actual suspension backpack. And four, I'm just the kind of guy that likes to be prepared when I'm out and about, so I'm always carrying a raincoat and water and snacks. So it's, you know, when you're wearing a backpack every single day and walking around, if you don't have some sort of hip support and you're carrying really any amount of weight, it's really going to start hurting your shoulders, and that really sucks. So even though it makes you look like a nerd, it's nice to have the hip belt attachment. Weight aside, it's a great backpack. It's held up super duper well. They still sell these. I don't remember what the price point is. Maybe $120, maybe less. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a YouTuber. You can Google it. It's got this big front pouch. It's got a big internal pouch. It's got a little pouch. There's not much to talk about. I do carry certain things in here all the time, but I will talk about that as I go through all my stuff. The things that are in here right now are just some tissues, some notes on words, some little extra headphone things, you know, the earbud things, because, you know, if you're on a 10-hour bus ride and you lose one of these under your seat, you're going to want to have some in your bag that's next to you, not in your bag that's underneath the bus. And I carry this little button compass, which seems kind of dumb, but I've found that if you're in a really crowded city with really tight narrow streets or something that either your map app doesn't work great on, or you're just exploring and you don't want to be wandering around staring at your map looking at all these side streets, if you just know, hey, where I'm trying to go, my hotel is east of here, it's kind of nice to just have a little compass, and as long as you're kind of heading east, you'll get there eventually, and then you can explore the city, go in the right direction, and instead of looking at your phone all the time, you can still look around and just look at a little compass. Okay, so this stuff right here, kind of, we'll pack this up along the way, I guess. This stuff all goes in one bag, and my organizational system is sack-based, so I have like several different sacks that I put in my big bag, and all this stuff goes in this dry bag, which I'll talk about in a minute. So here, travel towel. It's just a microfiber towel. I actually bought this in Tbilisi, Georgia, because my old one got disgusting. In my opinion, just get the lightest you can get. You know, they're not that comfortable to dry off with, but they work. This size is like just big enough. Anything bigger than that, like, get over yourself. Anything smaller, you really hate yourself. This is a sleeping bag liner. This is the Cocoon Silk Mummy Liner, and I really love this thing. I've had this for years before we left for traveling. I've used it backpacking a lot. If you don't know what these are, it's super light. It's just a really, really thin sleeping bag, essentially. But the silk one is great because it's really lightweight. It's really strong, and it's really warm, actually. I think when they talk about sleeping bags, they say it adds like 10 degrees Fahrenheit to your like warmth rating, but we use these all the time. One, if you're just a little bit chilly, it's a little bit cold, you don't have quite enough blankets, you can just slip into this no problem. On the flip side, like when we were in Africa and it was really hot, if you don't want to use a blanket, you're uncomfortable, you can just sleep in this, and it's really nice. And third is if you're in a hostel or a cheap hotel, anywhere where the bedding feels a little bit gross, or if you're in a situation where you're in like a group bunk where people are sleeping together, which will happen if you're in alpine huts or something, they have that sometimes, you can just slip into this and then you're not touching against any potential gross, unwashed fabrics or people. These are exercise bands. I carry these for working out, believe it or not. I think it's really important to try to stay kind of in shape on the road. I definitely don't work out all the time, but at least once a week I try to do a little full body workout. You can order these, on Amazon or your local store or whatever. They're pretty beefy resistance bands. I find that, you know yourself, but for me, 2 is plenty. I have like a small one and sort of a medium-sized one, and I can combine them to make it a little bit stronger. And with these, you can really do all sorts of stuff. You have push-ups, and then push-ups plus these. You can do sort of rows on a thing. You can do flies like that. You can do shoulder presses and side raises, blah, blah, blah. If that's something that's important to you, I'd recommend carrying these. They're pretty light. This is a little laundry kit. We do a lot of laundry in sinks, which is just necessary. It's pretty easy to do. This is a universal drain plug. Again, this costs, I don't know, $5 online or something. It just slaps onto a sink anywhere and you can fill it with water. And then once you do the laundry, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube about that, you can hang it up. And you can buy, travel clotheslines on the internet, but you don't have to. All I did is I bought just some string, some tight string. I put a loop on either end, and on one end I tie, I think this is called like a midshipman's hitch or whatever. If you just look up sliding hitch, any sort of knot, you can see it has this big knot, and then you can just slide it and adjust the size of the knot. So you can hook one side of this to wherever there's room, hook this side, get it nice and tight, and there you go. When we first started, I used bungee cords, the shock cord I have in my backpack, but if you add the stretchy cord, once you put the clothes on it, it just sags. So I found this static rope to be a lot better. So then I tied a whole bunch of knots at intervals in the rope, and then for clothes hangers, I just used these little binder clips, and the knots stop the binder clips from sliding. And these binder clips, these mini ones, do a great job of holding the clothes. And if you haven't left on your trip yet, you can probably get a whole bunch of these for free from your works office, or if you know anybody that works in an office, they can probably swipe 20 or 30 of these for you, no problem. And then there you go, free clothesline. This is a little sewing kit. It used to be bigger. I got rid of a bunch of it. It's, really simple. Just got a few needles in here. I don't even know if I have to, visualize this for you. I think you get the idea. Some needles, some different color threads that match the clothing I have, and a couple spare buttons for my stuff. The sewing kit, this is something where if you really wanted to save weight and space, you can buy a sewing kit literally anywhere in the world, and it will be cheap. However, I feel like if your pants rip, maybe around your crotch area, which mine have, you don't really want to go to the store because maybe those are your only pants and now they're ripped in the crotch. So it's better to have a little something, at least, if you really want to go light, you just need one piece of thread, one roll of thread, a couple needles, there you go. Learn to sew. It's not that hard. You can repair little rips in your stuff because your shirts and your pants, they're going to rip over time. And it's just a really nice thing to have on hand. And again, you can go super lightweight about it. This is more clothing, but I keep it in here. It's just a tiny pair of liner gloves. I should probably get rid of these. I've never used them, but we have some cold places coming up that we're going to, so maybe I'll use them then. And honestly, they weigh so little, I don't want to get rid of them because they cost a lot of money to buy. And this is, I would just recommend in general, bring less and buy it while you're traveling if you need it. Because if you bring stuff with you that you don't want, especially if you spent money on it, you're really not going to want to throw it in the garbage or donate it. So you're going to end up lugging it around with you like these. These are some spare picks for my instrument that I carry around, and also a few plug adapters. I don't remember what company these are from, but if you look them up, I think it was on New York Times Wirecutter, I found these. But don't bring a stupid big universal plug because they're just so heavy and they're totally useless. Bring these little guys. You can buy these individual converters for the individual places you're going. if you're doing a big world tour, you know, I brought all of them because I know where we're going. But if you're only going to one region or one area, you can just bring one of these and you're gonna know where you're going. For instance, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, China, just bring that. Just that's it, just a little thing. And you don't need a voltage converter because unless you're bringing like a microwave oven with you, everything that you use now, your phone chargers and stuff, they all have that stuff built in, so it's no problem. And something you could also do if you don't want this, if all you're doing is charging a phone, honestly, if you're going to like cheaper countries, there's going to be a phone store on every single street that can sell you a USB power plug for like $5. So you don't even really need this. If all you're charging is your phone, you could just buy it in country, no problem. You don't have to worry about converters. So that would be my recommendation, unless you have things besides phones or USB based products that you're bringing with you. This is a little bit of medication. I've never used it. It's for traveler's diarrhea. So these are just antibiotics. It says like, you know, if you have diarrhea that's bloody, you're supposed to take these. Harper's doctor wouldn't prescribe these to her. Mine did. I've heard there's some pushback against people taking this because it just contributes to world antibiotic resistance, which is probably true. I've never used it. I think I would rather have it in my pack than not have it in my pack. So this is our first aid kit. Might be a bit beefy for some people, but I don't know. I'd like to have this stuff because you really never know. You know, there was one time when we were just walking around and I sprained my ankle really bad, and I was really glad to have some of this stuff on hand. This is a basic trauma kit. There should be some scissors in here, but they got taken away the last time we went to the airport. I should replace them. But this is just an ace bandage, a tourniquet, and some it's called quick clot. I don't need to explain all this. If you've never taken a first aid class or a basic, you know, emergency first aid class or something, that would be a really great thing to do before leaving, or even just watching some videos or something, because you never know, especially if you're with a partner. It's great to have these things and know how to use it. In here, just super basic stuff. I got a little tick remover thing. We have found ticks on us. Have a little emergency space blanket. Just basic trauma pads, triangle bandage, band-aids, blah blah blah. You can figure this out. If you don't know how to use something, don't bring it, and if you feel like you should have it, learn how to use it. The most important thing in this bag are these little alcohol wipes, alcohol, band-aid, important. We got these tubes, triple antibiotic ointment for putting on cuts and stuff. Also really important, especially, you know, if you're in developing countries or something. If you get a little cut, you really want to disinfect that and put something on it. Knock on wood, we haven't had to use this yet, but this is some antifungal cream for fungus related problems. Got a few latex gloves in here, and most important probably is moleskin. You probably know what this stuff is if you're a hiker, but if not, it's basically like a really, really thick band-aid. So if and when you get some blisters on your ankles or something, you can put a piece of this moleskin on it and it will make it feel a lot better. And you'll be very, very, very happy you have that. Here's a little bit of duct tape. This is a trick I like to do. Just take a piece of cardboard. You can just wrap the duct tape around. You have a little tiny roll of duct tape. These are some patches. And something I use a lot on my down jacket and my dry bags. You can buy this, it's called like vinyl repair tape, but it's specially made for stuff that's like technical clothing or something. And you can buy a big sheet of it. I like to carry that around. And here's just some spare buckles for if my backpack buckles break, and a spare drawstring cord, which I've used. I had a few of these and they break all the time. This is a spare pair of glasses because I'm blind, so I just have a cheap spare pair of eyeglasses with my prescription. And this is a bag of strings for my instrument because I play the banjo and I don't know if I'll have luck finding those strings internationally. All that stuff that I just showed you, it all goes in this big dry bag here. Gets down pretty small, and I like to I don't know, just me, I like to have all these bits and bobs in a big sack. I just find it easier. Moving along, these are my electronics, which I probably have too many of. I have a computer, and this is something that's definitely an extra. I don't think it's necessary to bring a computer, especially if you were only to be traveling, if you were traveling for a few months or something. I don't think it's necessary. For me, I do a lot of stuff on spreadsheets, and it's just so much easier to have a keyboard and a computer. And also doing research, of course, it's easier to have the computer. Also, we really like watching movies on it. It's nice if, you know, to have a bit of comfort. You can just load up a whole bunch of movies on a micro SD card or something and put it in your computer and you have it. This is a little Microsoft Surface 2 Go with the case. It's really light, it's really small, it's a touchscreen, it has this keyboard. It's been great so far, it's been super durable. I got this one used on eBay for about 300 bucks. I mean, for what it's worth, I'd recommend it. Again, you can probably get away without it. I probably don't need this either, but it is a really nice luxury item to have, and this one in particular is pretty light. Something I've seen somebody do is they had like a little Bluetooth keyboard that hooked up to their phone, so that could be an interesting alternative if you want to type or do writing, but you don't really need the big screen, or you want to cut weight, or you don't want to have something expensive with you. I would look into that. Because of the computer, I have a little charging block here that's powerful enough to charge the computer. So I have that. I have my one charging cable for my phone and my computer. This is just a little dongle for the computer that outputs it into USB hubs and HDMI hubs. My flashlight has a battery that I need to charge. This is the little battery charger thing. I talked about this earlier. This is the little converter plug. This, I'm really glad I brought. Bring a little flash drive, because you might need to print things out. In some places, sometimes you need to have printed bus tickets, or maybe you need to print something for your visa or something. And if you need to go to a copy shop or something, it's really nice to be able to put a document on this flash drive and bring it to them. Again, of course, you can just buy this in whatever country you're going to. Not a big deal. Honestly, I don't even know why I have this. It's a extra micro SD card and a converter. But again, I brought it because I thought I need it, and now I don't want to throw it out because it's probably worth like 40 bucks or something. So it's light carrying it around. This is a power bank. This one is, I think, 20,000, whatever it is, milliwatt hours. I think that's too much. Everybody has these. I don't even know if it's really necessary, but I think 20,000 is a bit too much, because honestly, there just aren't that many places now that are really, truly off the grid. If it's really important to make sure that you have power 100% all the time, okay, maybe get a bigger one. But if you get a 10,000 milliamp hour one, I think it would be a lot better. Okay, here's some more odds and ends. This is just a little dry bag I have, 12-liter dry bag. And I use this now as almost a bit of a purse, because while I have my day bag, when I'm carrying my big backpack, I put my day pack inside of that. So I basically have one big backpack. And when you're going on a minibus or bus or public transport or something, or if you're just going about your day, you know, you get on the bus, they're gonna take your big backpack and put it somewhere, or you're gonna have it out of reach. And for me, I like to have a few things immediately available. So like my e-reader, book, some water, some snacks, my headphones, whatever you're gonna want on hand. So I just had this, so I carry it around, this little strap. So I carry it as like a little purse in my hand. This is probably not the way to go. It's just sort of jerry-rigged, because that's what I had. A lot of travelers carry, you know, a fanny pack. That would work great. And you'll notice in basically every other country except for America, tons of guys, pretty much everybody, have these like one shoulder strap bags that fit a decent amount of stuff. And again, you could buy those anywhere for really cheap. So you could go with one of those, but I think you need some sort of purse-like object to carry around a few essentials, unless you always want to be, you know, having your backpack there and your front bag there, which I would really avoid at all costs, because it's really annoying and you're gonna hate it. So That's what this is for. These are just flashcards. I'm studying the Russian language, and I also study the languages of all the countries we go to. I'm a flashcard guy. I have my little language notebook in here. So this is just something I carry around with me all the time. I have some pencils in here, some lead. You probably don't need that, but it's always fun to learn the language, and I think that making the physical flashcards is really helpful and better than just doing it on your phone. I think it helps you learn it. These are pictures I printed out before we left of friends, family, places, physical pictures, and I always carry these around in my day pack with me. Of course, you can just make sure you have a folder downloaded on your phone with pictures, and that's fine. That's great. That will work just as well. I'm glad I have the physical pictures because it's nice to be able to like pass something around to people. And if you're me, you don't want to be like passing your phone around a room of people and they're going to be swiping on stuff. So it's nice to have photos that you can hand to people and point at people. It doesn't weigh much, so I'm glad I have that. This is my toiletry kit. This is another something that I've been like, okay, if you're really wanting to cut weight, you could just use a plastic bag or something. It doesn't really matter what you carry your toiletry items around in. This one's kind of cool. It's a Rare Form brand, but they make it out of recycled billboards. So it's super tough and it's waterproof. So I like to have that. And also, if you're gonna be staying at hostels or guest houses or places with shared bathrooms, you're gonna need to bring your stuff with you, and it might get wet or something, so it's nice to have something like this. I don't really think I need to go through what's in here necessarily. I got a stick of deodorant, I got a little bit of bag balm for like, cracks in my hands and stuff. I got somewhere in here some working hands hand cream, which I love. Toothbrush, toothpaste, Again, you can buy this shit all over the world, anywhere. You don't need to bring extra toothpaste. You don't need to bring extra whatever your face cream is. You don't need to bring your extra hand cream. Anywhere you go, you can buy this stuff. So bring as little stuff as possible. You can buy a toothbrush anywhere. And also in here, I carry around a little bag of powder detergent for doing laundry and sinks. You can 100% use just like soap in a pinch, like soap at your hotel or whatever, like free soap or shower shit or whatever. It'll wash your clothes all right. I only carry this around because we stayed somewhere. They had a box of detergent that was specially designed for doing laundry in a bucket, so we just carried that around. When we first left, we bought a bunch of like sheets of laundry detergent in strips, and that was really convenient too and worked well until we ran out. But again, like, you don't really need it. You could get away with just using soap and stuff. But the strips were pretty good. I'll leave clothing for last. Just keep talking about my other odds and ends. This is just a notebook, a journal, daily journal. Of course, you could save space if you like to journal on your phone or something, but I just really like having it physically in my hand. This is, I keep this in my day pack all the time. It's a little hitchhiking kit. Oh, you saw this earlier with my electronics and my laptop. These are just little waterproof bags. Honestly, they're just like expensive Ziploc bags. Wouldn't really recommend them. They haven't held up that great. But I just keep some paper and a Sharpie in here. So if we need to hitchhike somewhere or get a ride, it's nice to have something that I can write in big letters where we're going, and the bag will keep it waterproof, and you can, make a sign and hold it up. It doesn't weigh anything. I carry that around. This is our money belt. This is super important. You 100% need a money belt. This one's from Osprey. I got it half off new. I think they're $20. I like it a lot. It's good. It's comfortable. What I don't like a lot is that the zipper ripped irreplaceably, which sucks, but I've been using it all the time. Just maybe this is TMI, but when I first bought this, I thought I'd be wearing it like up here, sort of under my shirt, like that. But where I wear it is like on my crotch. So like right below my underwear line, it just sits right there. You don't notice that it's there because you can't see it with the pants. Nobody's reaching for your crotch. And when I need to access it, I can just sort of go into my pants right there. And this is where we keep the majority of my cash is in here. My passport's in here. I always keep emergency money. Certain parts of the world, euros are better to have certain parts of the world. US dollars, even better, carry a bit of both in crisp, clean bills. What I do is I just made a little sleeve, because I figured this out, of like paper to keep the bills crisp. But if you could maybe like a piece of plastic or something, put the bills in something, that's probably a better solution to the problem.
Hi, Surya.
I keep my credit cards in here. Basically anything you don't want to lose, carry around in the money belt, and don't try to access it in public. This is something, another one of these waterproof bags I keep. It has copies of all of our documents, multiple copies of my passport, which is something I always carry in my wallet. I have like a dummy wallet, so I always carry a wallet around that has like a couple old ID cards, some old credit cards, a copy of my passport, and a small amount of cash. And I also carry like a 50 euro bill in there. This is just a theory, you know, luckily we've never been mugged or anything like that, but I feel like if I can just give somebody 50 euros, maybe they'll take my wallet and leave rather than continuing to search through all my shit. So I carry that around. It's up to you. In here, again, copies of my passport. This is very important if you have travel insurance or health insurance, copies of all those specific forms that the insurance company requires, and pens, because I've heard a lot of stories, you know, if you need to get insurance covered and you need to go to the hospital abroad, they're gonna really want to not pay for your shit. So you're gonna need to use their specific forms and get them filled out in the hospital, and you really don't want to be worried about finding that stuff. So that's all here. Yellow fever vaccination cards here, COVID vax cards here, domestic health insurance. So basically all my documents are here, and also I keep another like spare maybe $150 of cash in here just in case something were to happen to my money bag. My money belt, I have this. And just to note that whenever I have to go to an airport or something where I'm going to be separated from my big bag, I take this and I put it in my little bag. I think it's always a bad idea to have any sort of cash in some bag that you're checking and you don't have eyes on at all times, because you never know what's going to happen. There's a water filter. This one is the Katadyn Be Free. I don't like it. This is actually my backup one. I use these for backpacking too. They work when they work, but the problem is they just get clogged up so quickly. And you have to use it with the stupid squeeze bottle. Honestly, I don't recommend them. I used to have a Life Straw filter that attached into an Nalgene, and that worked pretty well. I liked it because it lasted like forever. But it was kind of annoying. The flow rate wasn't great. It was super loud. Like everybody on the bus or in the room could hear when I was using it and would turn around and stare at me when I was drinking out of this hamster bottle. So I lost that one on a bus, unfortunately. I liked it better than this one, but we actually, we're meeting up with a friend soon, and I told him to buy a few Sawyer squeeze filters. So we'll see how those go. I would recommend bringing the filter. Because a lot of places you maybe don't want to drink the water, but it just gets expensive and wasteful buying bottled water all the time, and it's not always an option. So get something light. This is my flashlight. If you're into brands, this is the Through Night TH10 rechargeable battery, whatever. It doesn't matter what you have, just buy something, a headlight. You know, I'm assuming you're not venturing into the deep wilderness or something, but you know, rolling blackouts are a thing on a lot of places of the world. And sometimes there's no power, sometimes you need to fumble around in your hostel, you don't want to turn the light on, whatever. But any sort of headlight will do. Something light, something that's either rechargeable with a USB cord that you have for your phone, or something with like AA, AAA batteries that you can get anywhere in the world. Don't get a headlight that uses some weird batteries that you're going to have trouble finding, but you definitely need a headlamp. I wouldn't travel without one. This, probably unnecessary, but it doesn't weigh anything. I like it. It's just a little piece of foam that I sit on. I use it to protect my instrument. Sometimes it's just nice to, you know, if you're kind of sitting on a street corner or like waiting for a bus or whatever, you know, have something to put your ass on, or if it's wet or if it's cold. So I carry it in the outside of my pack. You don't need this. If you have one, maybe bring it. I like it. This is just, well, I should talk about, this is my banjo. This is my instrument. So this is definitely the heaviest luxury item I have. It takes up a lot of room. This weighs like about 6 pounds, 5 or 6 pounds,
which is super annoying. It collapses and folds up inside my bag. If you don't play an instrument, or you're learning to play an instrument, and you're thinking of bringing it with you and learning to play it on the road and using that time, I would honestly recommend against that, because I don't think you probably won't have that much free time, and more importantly, you're not going to have regimented free time. You know, if you're learning an instrument, you really need to be practicing every day for 20 minutes or something, and you're not going to be able to have that sort of schedule. You're not going to have that regular time that you can put into it. And moreover, you're probably going to be places like hostels or places where there's other people who are not going to want to listen to your practicing. So don't bother bringing it if you're honestly not good. If you are pretty good and you play an instrument pretty well, I would bring it. I think it's worth the wait. It's a real pain in the ass to carry this around, but you know your instrument better than I do, but there's tons of little travel guitars. I'm sure there's travel keyboards. I'm sure there's a travel version of any instrument. You know, this is a travel banjo. I know I bought this used, but some guy just makes them in his basement. So you can probably find one, and it's just been such a great way of connecting to people, especially across a language barrier. I've met a lot of people. I've had really cool experiences, all because of this instrument. It's a way to give back. You know, if you're doing couch surf stays or home stays or something like that, you can sort of have something to really easily share and entertain. So if you are a musician and you're going to be gone for any substantial period of time, I think it's worth carrying the instrument, and it's worth bringing the instrument as well. And this is just a little bag of, supplies for the instrument, which won't be interesting to most people. A couple spare strings, a little bit of oil for screws on there. I used to have little pliers, got taken away on an airplane as well. Oops. These are my hiking poles. I started off the trip with these ultralight, expensive ones. Didn't use them that much, shipped them home. Then we started hiking in the summer and my knees started hurting, so I bought these. Again, a great example. You know, these cost maybe $30. You can buy them anywhere, and I've been waiting for the airplanes to take them away from me on my carry-on, but I've had them now for 6 or 7 months carrying them around. So again, things like hiking poles, things like that, you know, if you're on the fence about them, don't bring them. And if you need them, you can find somewhere to buy them, probably for cheaper than at home. In the same vein, these are patellar straps. Again, I have some knee problems. They're just for my knees. This is my sleep setup. Super bulky. Again, this is a bit of a luxury item. I'm really particular about sleeping. I have a hard time sleeping. I have a hard time with pillows and different pillows, and you know, we sleep in a new bed almost every night, so I elected to bring this pillow. This is a great pillow. These are the Thermarest collapsible pillows. They get really small, so it fits in this little bag right here, and then I have a few straps that I compress it together with, so it turns out really small. I'll show you that later when I pack up my bag, but you probably don't need to bring this if you're a normal person. Like 95% of people, if you can sleep with what other pillow, fine. But if you need a pillow, I recommend these Thermarest ones. I've had this forever. It's starting to get a little flat, but I've been using it for the past 320 days, and I've had it probably since elementary school. So good stuff. And that rolls up into here. And I also have my sleep mask. Again, earplugs. Absolute essential. Bring a lot of them. You're going to want them. The other thing you are absolutely 100% going to want is a sleep mask. Look, you're going to be moving around a lot. You're going to be sleeping in places that you're not comfortable with, places with different lighting, places with people getting up all the time. Your sleep schedule is going to be changing. It's going to be rough. So the more uniform you can make your sleep experience night to night, the better you're going to sleep. Again, the pillow's probably overkill, but at least with the sleep mask and the earplugs, it'll be dark and it'll be quiet, and that'll always kind of be the same. The sleep mask is so important for your quality of sleep, which is hard to come by when you're traveling and super important. I'd actually recommend the sleep mask. I'll give it a shout out, I guess, from Manta Sleep. They make a whole bunch of these now. This is like one of the more basic ones. I don't know. I'm sure they've come up with like the super turbo, ultra, extreme Manta Sleep. I don't know, but this was like $25, and to me, worth every penny. It's super comfortable. It blocks out almost all the light. It's got these cups on it, so it doesn't crush your eyelashes and stuff like normal sleep masks. And at least for us, it was actually my partner wanted to buy one of these, and it was pretty hard to find any sleep mask abroad. So I'm glad I brought this, and I would recommend it. Okay, clothes. So I have them all out here right now, and some jackets over there, but all my clothes fit into this. I used to have more of these, but these are the Osprey packing cubes, the ultralight packing cubes. They're great, but I mean, any packing cubes will do. But if you don't know about packing cubes, this is a packing cube. Again, it's kind of a glorified Ziploc bag, but you're gonna want to use these. They'll save you so much space, especially with clothes. But instead of a bag that has tons of pockets, just get a bag that's a big open space and just shove your clothes into the packing cubes and shove the packing cubes into the bag, and that is totally the move. Because then, you know, when you get to somewhere, you can just take this out and you got a whole closet right here. Clothes, bring less clothes. You know, I almost feel like I have too much clothes, and I have so few clothes. Again, we have more because we need to pack for 2 seasons. You know, winter, really cold winters in Central Asia, really hot summers in Africa. So I have a bit extra stuff, but pretty much everything you can imagine clothing-wise, you can buy abroad. So start small, go big, do laundry in the sink. I'll start with what I'm wearing. These pants, these are like summer, ultra lightweight, you know, pants. I feel like you're wearing shorts. These are from Mammut. They might look a bit worse for wear. That's because I've been wearing them for the past 7 months. They're my only pair of pants. I really believe you only need 1 pair of pants at a time. 1 pair. 1 pair. Because pants don't get that dirty. You wear them all the time. And pants are heavy. You don't want to be carrying around an extra pair of pants. And you got to really ask yourself, do you really need more than 1 pair of pants? I'll answer for you. No, you don't. So these are almost destroyed, and I'm wearing these at this Mongolia homestay. It's September, so it's starting to get too cold for these pants. In fact, it pretty much is. So I'm using them as farm pants. They're gonna get destroyed, and then I'll lay them to rest after this homestay. I bought this pair of cheap jeans. They're gonna be my next forever pants. Cheap belt. I think these jeans cost like 12 bucks in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Footwear. These are little flip-flops. I bought these in Serbia, 5 bucks. You know, you don't need sandals. A lot of places will have sandals, but I think it's worth having some. We use them all the time, especially when you're on your feet all day. And again, if you're somewhere with a shared bathroom, or if you're budget traveling, you probably will be. It's nice to have your own sandals. I think using communal sandals is a little bit gross. So they don't weigh much. They're nice to have.
Buy them abroad.
My main shoes, yeah, buy them abroad because they'll be cheap and you can find them anywhere. These are my shoes. You can see I've been wearing them for a very long time. These are Ultra, whatever, Olympus 4s. I brought them because they're trail runners, so I wanted them to be like an everything shoe. I love these shoes. Whatever, bring shoes that are comfortable. Only bring 1 pair of shoes. Just 1 pair. 1 pair of shoes. Whatever that means to you, fine. But bring 1 pair of shoes. You don't need to be carrying around an extra pair of shoes. Shirts. This is a synthetic t-shirt I have. I regret bringing this. Again, I should just get rid of it. It only cost $5 used, but I have sentimental attachment, and I hate throwing things out, so I'm going to give this to my friend to bring back to the U.S. for me. But 1 shirt too many. I have 3 t-shirts. I should have only brought 2. I swear by these. These are my other 2 t-shirts. You could go the cheap route and just get a t-shirt, wear it till it wears out, and then buy new ones abroad. For me, these are merino wool t-shirts. I think they're ice. No, they're what the hell is this? Yeah, they're Icebreaker. This is an Icebreaker 150 merino wool t-shirt. I love these because something about merino wool, and it sounds gross, but it's really true, is it doesn't smell. Like, you can wear this for like a week and it'll sort of start to smell. And once it starts to smell, if you don't wash it, if you just kind of leave it out, within a few days, really won't smell anymore. So doing your own laundry, you know, yeah, you definitely could like wash your shirts like every day or two, but I'm so lazy. And rotating, I like never wear this shirt. Again, I'm only wearing it because we're working on this farm and I want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin these shirts, but I rotate these every day, and you can just go for like a week or two and not wash them. It's pretty incredible. They feel good. They wick sweat. I love these merino wool t-shirts. They're expensive as hell though. Again, I got them half off, but I think new they're almost like 60, 70 bucks, which reasonably so might be too much for you, and that's totally fine. But I love the merino wool t-shirts. And in that vein, I love my merino wool underwear. Same concept. This is Smart Wool Boxer Briefs, 150 merino wool underwear. Same deal. I do wash them, but I rotate them every day, and you can go a long time before they start to get really gross. And that's legit. I started off with 4, now I'm down to 3, and I won't even show these to you because I'm embarrassed, but I am essentially down to 2. But again, my friend we're meeting up with, I ordered more pairs to him, and he's bringing me 2 more pairs of these merino wool underwear. Love the merino wool underwear. Honestly, if you're going to spend money on a piece of clothing, get some merino wool underwear. Because if that is touching your body, especially your private region, you do not want to be wearing some cheap polyester underwear that you bought in some market. It's just not going to be a fun time. Go for merino wool. So no surprise, I've got some merino wool socks. I have too many socks. These are all Darn Tough Vermont socks. Shout out Darn Tough Vermont. They make the best merino wool socks, and they have a lifetime policy where if you get any holes in any of your socks, you just mail the socks back to them, and they'll give you full credit to buy new ones. So it's basically you buy 1 pair of socks, and you have a pair of socks forever. I have 2 light pairs, 2 like medium light pairs, 2 heavier pairs, and 1 really big pair for the deep winter. Again, just because we need to travel in 4 seasons. So like these, if you were going to a warm place, I wouldn't bring these at all. 4 pairs of socks, I think too many pairs of socks. I think like if you really want to scrimp, you can get away with 2. They're merino wool, swap them around. As long as you have another pair of socks to wear when you're watching the other. 2's plenty, 3 if you're really serious about it. This is a cheap bathing suit. I think I bought this at Walmart a long time ago. Don't need shorts, can have a bathing suit, they double as shorts. So these are my bathing suit and shorts. If my 1 pair of pants gets dirty or is drying, I wear my 1 pair of shorts / bathing suit. Long underwear, super simple. You can buy this anywhere. This is some technical long underwear. This is my long underwear top. Actually, I'll say this brand because this is a Nike Pro Combat thermal shirt. And I love these. I got this as a gift, and they're super warm. Again, it's Nike Pro Combat thermal, but these are badass and will keep you warm. We have not used these that much. Again, you know, I wouldn't bring them if I was going somewhere warm, but we're going somewhere cold, so I have them. The only other things I have, my hat, a beanie, warm cap, a little buff. I don't like wearing sunscreen, so I have this to like keep my neck not burning. And how could I forget? These are my sun shirts. Again, only useful for the hot climates, but these are all outdoor research shirts. I think this is the Outdoor Research Astroman. This is the Outdoor Research Wayfarer. Man, I fucking love these shirts. Honestly, you know, my philosophy is normally, buy it abroad, but I'm glad I didn't buy these abroad, and I'm glad I have these. I hate the heat. I really do. I sweat a lot. I get really constricted by my clothing, and if you're like that, these shirts are great. I don't think I would have survived Africa and the other hot places we've been to without them. They're, you know, sun protectant, so you don't need to wear sunscreen under them, and they totally work. They're totally cool. The thing about the synthetic stuff like this is it will get stinky. So the merino wool stuff, you can wear it for days and it won't smell. This stuff smells. If you go out and you sweat in this, it stinks. But if you wash it, it'll dry, and I swear to God, like an hour or two. These things dry insanely quickly. I have 2, because I started with 2. If I did it again, and I'm being ultra light about it, I just bring 1, because again, they dry so quickly. You should really be able to wear it when you get to where you're going, wash it, and by the time it's in the morning, it'll be dry. And if it's just a little damp, who cares? By the time you put it on, step outside, it'll dry on its own. Anyway, these shirts are great. That's all my clothing, I think. So this is the rest of my clothing. This is a flannel. This sort of serves as like my mid-weight. Again, outdoor research. I love outdoor research. The feedback flannel. This thing's been fantastic. It's great to have that sort of mid-layer. And this works well for me. Again, I think you should bring as few clothes as possible. So think about a t-shirt layer or a shirt layer, some sort of mid-layer, and then a jacket. This flannel serves good for me. It's pretty light for what it is. It's like relatively fashionable. It's a little bit nicer than just a sweatshirt or something. The buttons fall off all the time, but I have my sewing kit and spare buttons, so I fix them. So all this stuff together, this all fits into that one bag. My jackets, I have this. This is my red Big Agnes puffy down jacket. They don't make them exactly like this anymore. I've had this for ages. It's covered in patches. Probably needs more patches, but the puffy down jacket is the way to go. Even if you're going to somewhere that's hot, it could get cool at night. I don't know. If you have a nice puffy, these things, they get so small when you pack them up. They barely take up any room. They're super light. One thing to note, especially if you're bringing this and not using it that often, with a down puffy jacket, you have to take care of down. You have to take care of merino wool. You have to make sure you treat this with care. You should be taking this out every night, even if you're not using it, and hanging it up, or at least every 2 nights. You don't want this compressed and shoved in the bottom of your bag for 3 months. It's really bad for it. So keep that in mind. And this jacket will keep me warm down to maybe 40 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that, a little bit colder. Again, because we're in winter places, I have this is the Big Agnes, I don't know what it is, the Big Agnes belay jacket. It's not down, it's synthetic. Again, if you don't know, the nice thing about synthetic is if it gets wet, it's still warm, as opposed to down, which will not insulate when it's wet, but it's a bit lighter and more compressible. This jacket, you probably don't need to be carrying a winter coat around with you. I just bring it because, again, it's expensive. I happen to have it anyway from my wilderness adventures earlier, and it's super light for how warm it is. So I bring it around, and I also justify it because I got rid of the case for my instrument, my banjo, so I use this as a bit of a case. So I wrap the banjo up in this, and it's a bit of a case. This is my raincoat. Again, outdoor research. Love outdoor research. This is the outdoor research essential, whatever the fuck. Again, an expensive jacket. I have these pro deals through my old job, so I got this half off. It's a pretty expensive jacket, but for me it works really well. A raincoat, you could get away with not having a raincoat. You can buy umbrellas anywhere. You could buy a poncho. I personally would bring the raincoat for me because I like wearing it as a light layer, and it helps keep the wind off. So it can make you a lot warmer. This plus the flannel will be perfectly suitable when this is a bit too much. If you're really trying to bring as little stuff as possible, go with an umbrella, not a raincoat. But if you're going somewhere where it's really going to be raining a lot, I think the raincoat's worth it. That's pretty much all my clothes. I bought, hey, you might notice I'm wearing different clothes. It's a different day. We're packing up to leave, and actually the family we're with is packing up their gear camp and moving it somewhere else too, so we're all doing it together. So I'm going to show you how everything fits in my bag, but there are a few items that I forgot to talk about just for the sake of completeness, for my own personal edification. So one, We have these rain covers. I have two, one for my day pack, one for my big backpack. The day pack one's maybe overkill. I think these are super useful. If you don't know what they are, they just open up. They're kind of like a glorified garbage bag, and they keep your bag dry when it rains. These are my sunglasses. This is a Kindle. This one's pretty old. I think it's like 6th or 7th generation. I really, really am glad I have this because carrying around books is just super heavy and unnecessary, and I read a lot. And we have lots of time to read, lots of waiting around. So if you have a Kindle or an e-reader or whatever, you can easily download books online. There's a lot of places to download books for free. If you Google it on Reddit or whatever, you can figure that out yourself. There's also apps like Libby and Overdrive from your library that you can probably download books onto an e-reader for free. And a lot of parts of the world you'll find trouble finding English books, or at least a good selection of English books. So if you like to read, I think this is a really cool investment. And they're not that expensive. On eBay, you can get an old one. Again, this is probably from like 5 years ago, 10 years ago or something, for not too expensive. This is a little HDMI cable I carry around. We bought this along the way because it's super cheap, and fairly often we stay in places and they'll have TVs, and since I have my computer, it's kind of nice to just be able to hook my computer up to the TV and we can watch movies and stuff on the TV, so that's kind of a luxury I have. These are my headphones. These are just cheap ones I bought in some store in Azerbaijan, but one thing I would do differently is, before I left, there's some stuff I was investing in that I ended up getting rid of. Like I said, I invested in these nice hicing poles. I sent them home. I bought some like locks for lockers at hostels and stuff, and I got rid of them. I maybe bought extra clothing I didn't need, but I wish I had bought some nicer headphones. I was worried that if I bought nice headphones, A, I would just lose them, which is always a possibility, and B, I thought it might be kind of too conspicuous. But everywhere we've gone, people have had those in-ear pods and earphones and headphones and stuff, so nothing about it is like weird. And we spend a lot of time on buses, on marshrukas, on planes, on trains, just waiting around. And this could have been a really cool opportunity, I think, for me to listen to a lot of music and listen to a lot of new music and spend all this time I have exploring new music. And when I just have these shitty headphones, it's just not a great experience. So I wish I had invested a bit more money, gotten some nice headphones, and really took advantage of this hours and hours and hours and hours of collective free time to explore some music. This is a brand new addition to our stuff. Super excited to show this off. The host family we're staying with, the mom, she sewed this for us to size or measurements on an old like hand crank sewing machine, and it took her a few days. And it's a beautiful, beautiful Mongolian shirt. So super, super excited about this. I mean, what a kingly gift to receive. And just a couple more things I didn't talk about. This hat. I bought this hat in Kyrgyzstan. Before we left, we were going to Morocco and Senegal first, and I spent all this time looking for like the perfect big sun hat. I went to all these stores, and I think I bought like a $40 North Face like sun hat, and I was like, oh my god, this is it. I'm so glad I got this. And then I sent it home over the winter, and I was looking for a new one. Oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to find anything perfect like that. And then I bought this one in Kyrgyzstan for like $4, and it's been doing the trick just fine. So just goes to show, again, should have taken the $40 I spent on that hat, bought some headphones instead. So I'll probably get rid of this hat, donate it to somebody once it gets cold again. And something I always carry around, because again I need my caffeine, just a couple packets of instant coffee, because not everywhere you stay is going to have free coffee, and in the morning I don't want to go looking for it, so just carry around a few packets of that. So this is what it looks like all packed up. And you can see what I meant earlier. I kind of use these bungee cords here as homemade compression straps, which Osprey I really shouldn't have to do. And that's about it. This is a water bottle holder. All fits on.